Lesson 7.2, Day 2, we are going to still continue with transformations, only this time it's absolute value, which I feel like is a lot easier because it's just this V shape. And with this V shape, we start at 0, 0 if it's just the parent function, and we draw a slope of 1 going up to the right, and it's a slope of -1 going the other direction from the left. So it's a very easy graph to graph. So what I want you to do first, this second page is just a review of all of our transformation rules, and it still applies even though it's absolute value. Okay, all those same rules. So keep those in mind. And then here it is again, kind of in format with the absolute value bars. So again, if something's out front, if it's a negative, it's a reflection, or if it's a big number, it's a stretch, small number, compression. We can write the vertex. So this is kind of new. We can write this number, but we always do the opposite when it's on the inside, and then this number on the outside, and now we know where to start. Our vertex is kind of our starting point. Okay. And then again, outside tells us up and down, inside tells us left and right, overall in that information. So before we get started, what I want you to do is on pages 22 and 23 and 24, these next 3 pages, there's a lot of space for all of our graphs. I want you to go ahead and go through and just draw the parent function for absolute value in all of these. So what I want you to do is start at 0, 0, and then draw all the way up with a slope of 1, if your pen works, or if your pencil, should be pencil, works, and then going this direction with a slope of -1. So go through and do that on every single graph through number 10, through page 24. So pause the video, do that now, and then we'll come back and we will graph our transformations. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Over here on the left, this is our general form. So remember, it's x minus h. So h is a positive, it would shift to the right. So really, it's that opposite thinking when we're on the inside. So what we want to do is we want to write our vertex. So remember, it's the number on the inside. We do the opposite. Well, since there's no number, we just put a 0 for our h. And our k back here is a 1. And that we just leave whatever its sign is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and graph this. Now we know where to start, so it's really easy. We're just going to start at 0, 1, and then we are going to graph our v, just like we did our parent function, only this time we are starting at our new starting point with a slope of 1, and over here a slope of -1. So you can see my original parent function and now the transform function. What happened? Well, it moved up 1. What was the domain and the range? Well, from left to right, it's going on forever. So -infinity to infinity. And then from the bottom to the top, we're starting at 1. And we're going to infinity. Let's try another one. So this time we have x minus 6. So again, we do the opposite of what's on the inside. So this should be a positive 6, but there's nothing out back here. So what do we do if there's nothing? 0. So again, this is my h, this is my k, this is the inside and the outside to find that vertex, that starting point. So we're going to start at 6, 0. So go out to 6 and go to 0 and put a dot. Now we just draw our v, with a slope of 1 going this direction. And you can kind of put your dots there if you need to with that for that slope of 1 going this way, and then a slope of -1 going this direction. And again, you can kind of put those dots, see how I put those dots, and then draw your line so that you get that straight line going there. All right, so what happened? Well, it moved to the right 6. And our domain, still -infinity to infinity for left and right. Up and down, we're still at 0 for our lowest point, and our highest goes on forever. So 0 to infinity. All right, let's turn to the next page. So you should already have your parent functions graphed on all the rest of these. Let's do a few more with our vertex and then have you try some. All right, so we have starting point here, nothing inside, so 0, -8. So start at 0, down to -8, and draw your V. And it looks like we moved down 8 on this one. So to graph, put our slope of 1. I always like to do those little dots so I know exactly my line's getting straight on there with that exact slope of 1 and then going this direction of -1. Beautiful. All right, so left to right, negative infinity, positive infinity. It looks like our lowest point here is -8 and our highest point going to infinity. So remember, we go bottom to top, left to right for domain and range. All right, I want you to go ahead and try these 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now remember to do the opposite when you're on the inside. So for number 4, opposite of +5 should go here, and then nothing on the outside there. So go ahead and try 4, 5, and 6, graph, and check your answers when you're ready. All right, here's number 4, starting at -50. So it moved left 5, the domain negative infinity to infinity, and a range 0 to infinity. Let's check 5 and 6. So 5 and 6. 5 was 6, 1. Again, you do the opposite of your inside number. So it moved right 6 and up 1, negative infinity to infinity, and 1 to infinity for the range. Number 6, -5 to -8. So left 5 and down 8. Negative infinity to infinity, -8 to infinity. All right, let's go ahead and turn to the last page. Let's talk about reflections to finish this up. Reflections, if it is a reflection with a negative out front, so a vertical, it's flipping up and down. So that's a negative out front. But if it's a negative on the inside, horizontal, it's flipping left and right, and it looks like nothing is happening. So for this first one, are we flipping? Yep, outside, so it's vertical, so it's up and down. So that's going to be graphed. Oop, if I can get my arrow right. Where it's flipping upside down. So 0, 0 still for 0, 0. And it looks like our domain negative infinity to infinity. And we have a starting point, lowest point, negative infinity, highest point, 0. But over here on this one, still 0, 0, but we're flipping with it horizontal left and right. So this side is now going to go onto this side. And this side, the left side, would flip to the right side. So look, it looks like nothing happened because we just flipped it left and right. So this one is still the exact same with a of the original parent function of 0 to infinity. All right, do one of these together and then I'll have you try the last one. So we have opposite, 3, regular, 5. 3, 5 is our starting point. Now this one, there's a negative out front, so that means it's vertical. We're going to flip it upside down, so it's going to be an upside down V. So that means we want the V to start going down instead of up. And it should, if I can get my line to go here. There we go. There it is. So we have the transformations that took place were right 3, up 5, and a vertical reflection. And if you want to say over the x-axis, but pretty much vertical reflection is good enough for me. So we have negative infinity to infinity, and it looks like our lowest point is down here, negative infinity, our highest point 5. All right, try that last one, number 10, on your own and check when you're ready. All right, how'd you do? Check your answer, make sure your graph matches up as well, and then write any questions that you have down below here at the bottom of the page and make sure to ask those when I see you in class.